So what's up everybody? I'm at the studio today and I have had a couple questions on how I control my lighting and the sparks with that, the iPad. So all these lights behind me are connected with DMX cable. They are daisy chained together, and so each light is connected to each other. And I have what's called universes set up. So the lighting truss behind me that's sitting on the ground is on its own universe. The lights on the wall are on their own universe. And these lights behind me right here behind the goal are on its universe, and the lights on that wall behind me are on its own universe as well. So I have 4 universes in total. So each of these universes is labeled A, B, C, and D. It just helps me find the appropriate lights a little bit easier in the app. I'm using the Sidus Pro app for the iPad, and I can control each light with just the slider panels that come up. So somebody's asking me how I connect the Spark machine to the iPad. So it all has to do with the DMX. So the Spark machines are connected via DMX. Same thing with the Haze machine too. Everything's connected via DMX cables. And so I have a Sidus Pro link. So I'm gonna walk into the closet here. This is where I have the Sidus Pro connection hub set up, and everything is ran to this. So you can see right here that I have all the DMX cable, all the universes. So there's the 4 universes all running to the Sidus 4 Wi-Fi hub here. And then I have this little Wi-Fi little antenna. And then all I got to do is connect the iPad here to the Wi-Fi from the hub. So it makes it really easy. It was a pain to set up. I did not set this up myself. I did have to hire a company to help run all the cables and set everything up. We had to have like 2 huge spools of DMX cable. They custom made the cables based off how far they have to go. So we can kind of look behind me here. I'll go over here to the lighting rig. So you can kind of see up in here, I have cables ran from each light. And then I have 2 separate power cables for this. I have one power cable for the Spark machines. The Spark machines are running off their own separate power. They have to be plugged into their own outlet. Those Spark machines draw, I think together they draw 20 amps. Could be 20 amps together, but I know they have to be like on their own individual breaker. I can't have anything else plugged into that breaker. So the Spark machines have their own breaker, just because of the amperage that they draw. And then I have plugs that go from this mobile truss. The truss is on wheels, so I can move it. And then I have a plug going from the truss, plug it into the wall. Then I have a DMX cable that's running from the truss into that room as well. All the other cables, like that are up on the wall, like up here, you can kind of see we didn't like go into the wall, like drill into the wall, but they just ran the cable here, and then it goes up the side of our closet here and back into that back utility room. So here I'm going to get this set up for you, and then we can kind of see how I can control everything with the iPad. All right, so on the iPad here, I have all of my individual lights set up. We can go here, you can see all the different setups, all the different settings for each light stuff. So this does take quite a bit of time to set up because you have to go in and manually adjust each individual light. So I could do what is called cues. So we're gonna turn over here because I have the court kind of set up. All right, so behind me I have my lighting set up for the gym area, and I have these set up on cues that are in the iPad app here. And so I have these set up to turn on the blinder lights, which are the 2 lights side by side. I can turn those on. They're just kind of an amber color, probably around 3300K color temperature. So I'm gonna hit a cue on. Now I have my blinder lights on, so I'm gonna hit the next on the cue. Those turn on my par lights, which are just the single circular lights. And then hit the next again, and then that turns on the bar lights at the top. Now I do have individual programs made for just specific colors. Let's see here. Let's go find one for the court. There we go. Now it's made it all red. So each one of those bars across, they're probably about this long. I think there's like 6 bars attached, or 6 bars across on each of those. And so I have to go in and individually change the sliders and the colors for each of those bars. Now the par lights on the bottom, like the bottom on the sides, those par lights, they're just a single circular lights. Those can be changed to any color, white, it can be an amber color, it could be red, green, blue, violet, whatever. It can be as many colors as you want it to be. And then the blinders over here, just the 2 lights side by side, those can only do a cool white or a warm white. And then you can adjust the intensity of those lights as well. So we're gonna go back over here and we're gonna look at the sparks. All right, sparks. Got the sparks ready to go behind me right here. One thing you have to do, I have this slider right here. You have to slide it all the way to the top so the spark machines can warm up. That's their specific setting to actually get warm. It takes about 5 minutes or so for them to get warm. These are cold sparks, but they are not actually cold. They are heating up with things like titanium dioxide stuff in there. But you can hold your hand underneath it. It's not going to burn you, but it does get kind of hot. I did burn a hole in an umbrella when I did the photo shoot with Jelly Bean a couple years ago. So don't just stay there for like 2 or 3 minutes underneath the sparks like we did. But these are super easy to control. Got the slider that you can control the output of the sparks. You can let them go full blast. You can have them just trickle out just a little bit. And these are all connected, like I said, through DMX. And the iPad connects to the Sidus 4 controller, which is in the closet over here. So I'm just using Wi-Fi to connect to the controller, and then all of the universes or all the lights are connected via DMX and plugged into that controller. So I'm gonna get them going real quick. All I gotta do is turn the slider up, get them going, control the output, down a little bit, and then if you want to turn them off, just do that. So one of the main things you need to do after you use the spark machine is to clean them. So I've used them, done with the shoot, all that. So we're going to take this slider where it said warm up. I'm going to take it all the way back down, and then you got to take it to about 150 on the number, which is about like right there. What that's going to do is just going to clean out all of the excess powder that's in there so it doesn't clog up the lines. And it'll shut itself off whenever it's done. You don't have to have an iPad to control these. I think you can get these with like a remote to control them. There's several options for spark machines. They're very, very cool. I just opted to go for the down spark so I can connect them to the lighting truss here. One of my favorite things about the studio is using the Haze machine. All right, so Haze machine is going to go on behind me. It's kind of just trickling. Once you get the whole place kind of filled up with haze, you don't need to leave it on full power the entire time. You can adjust the output on here. I'm going to turn this slider up just so you can kind of see the full output. We're going to turn the haze all the way up, get it going there. Then we're going to turn the fan up all the way in here. Now I do have my air conditioning vents, you can kind of see lit up in the background over there. So those help push the haze all the way around the studio. So this is the haze machine going at full power, and it'll take probably about 5 minutes or so to have enough haze in the studio to use over kind of on the lighting truss, and then even less time to use over in the basketball area. And it does linger for a long time. Now you can adjust the output, like I said, just by using the sliders right here. So you can kind of see behind me that the output kind of decreased, or I can raise it all the way back up. I'll probably use this at about 15%. Once the whole room is kind of filled up, I'll use it at about 15% power or 15% output, just to kind of keep the haze kind of flowing and so it doesn't all dissipate. But definitely don't need to use a whole lot. I actually just refilled the reservoir today for the first time, and I've done about 8 shoots in here and had this thing going constantly during those shoots. So definitely more bang for your buck with the Haze machine. All right, so that about kind of just sums up all of the kind of lighting that I have in the studio, how they're connected, how I run everything. I told the company that I hired to set all this up, I want this to be as easy and as simplistic as possible whenever I'm going to be doing shoots. The only thing that I have to spend some time on is just coming in here beforehand, setting up all the lighting scenarios, different colors, that sort of thing. So a lot of cool things in this system. I can also add to it. I can take lights out if I want to. I can add new lights in. All I gotta do is just have their own dedicated DMX channel once I connect them in and set them up. So I will constantly be adding new lights in here, new setups, and that sort of thing. So thank you for subscribing.